Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Reverend Karen Wolfson. I'm the senior minister and spiritual leader of the Center for Spiritual Living, Sarasota. And we're so glad that you decided to spend this time with us. I want to share with you something that a friend sent just a couple of days ago. It speaks so clearly to what we're doing and how we're doing it right now. Here's what it says. Just to be clear, the church, spiritual community, has not been closed. We have simply stopped sharing as spiritual community in our buildings for a time in order to protect the health and well-being of our people and our greater communities. Spiritual community does not require a building. It simply requires love, caring, and a sense of the one infinite presence that connects and holds us all. And so, in recognizing that beautiful presence, I greet you with Namaste. And Namaste is that Sanskrit word that means the divinity in me honors and recognizes and greets the divinity in you. So, who are we and what are we all about? Well, it's summed up in the words that we as spiritual community declare each Sunday. You see those words now on your screen. We're a spiritual center that honors all paths to God. Ours is a positive message, inspiring our possibilities and offering spiritual tools for transforming our lives and helping to make the world a better place. Here we can find peace of mind, belonging to a spiritual home, and a personal relationship with the God of our understanding. We're here to discover what we already know. And by the way, as your spiritual community, every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m., you'll want to check out our free spiritual living circles. We do them by means of Zoom. It's an informal, inspiring midweek pick-me-up, and it's facilitated by one of our spiritual practitioners, Jim Grove. You see his email address on the screen. Please contact him for any details, and do consider joining in. It's a wonderful time. You'll be glad you did. And now I invite you to join me for a few moments to give yourself the gift of stillness, of calm in the storm, of serenity in the midst of all the busyness. Let the words and music of this chant that you're going to hear reassure you, comfort you, and refresh you.
I know that all is well.
how sweet it is to reflect on the breath of God breathing us. I am so grateful to know that truly the power, the presence, the strength, the support of the one, of God, of Spirit, is as near as every breath. And I know that for each one of us, this is our truth, that it is present, so near. And I know that in this awareness, we can look beyond appearances, that there is no problem, no challenge, no condition that is greater than the healing power and presence of the One. And so I affirm for each person here, each person listening and viewing, a new awareness, a deeper sense of somehow knowing that all is well, looking beyond the appearances, the conditions, all of the things that seem so daunting. I choose to know that there is something greater. And I know this for each one here, each one in our presence. So I know that for each one of us, we are guided, we are guarded, we are protected, we are informed, we are given strength, we are given everything we need. We trust and we let go of the worry, the fear, the doubt. Even though it appears and reappears, we can let go once again and trust. Just as we trust each breath, trust that we are supported by the infinite. I am so grateful to know this simple yet powerful and profound truth for myself and for everyone, for everyone. We let it go, we let it be, knowing that all now, all is well. All is well. And so it is. Today we have a special treat. Guest speaker, Reverend Christie Hardwick. I experienced the work of Reverend Christie many years ago when she was facilitating a workshop at one of our national conferences. And I never forgot how impressed I was, how touched I was by so many things about her, her skill, her intelligence, her wisdom, but mostly her deep spirituality. Well, in the last couple of years, she and her wife Jane have moved to St. Petersburg, Florida. And it's been a pleasure to be in touch with her again. Let me tell you a little bit about her, Reverend Christie. She is an ordained religious science minister, a leadership development expert, and a master facilitator. She had her own executive coaching practice for 15 years. She also had a 30-year career in the high-tech world, including several of those years being at the executive level. And most impressive is that she was a member of the executive committee of the Women's Leadership Board for the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard. As the founder of Inspiration Gatherings, Reverend Christie creates music and spoken word events to invite each of us to walk our path with a more open heart. She and her wife Jane divide their residence between Italy and St. Petersburg, Florida. Between them, they have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. I know you're going to be inspired and touched by Reverend Christie's message, but first, as a prelude, and by the way, her message is titled Here for God, and so as a perfect prelude to that, we're going to again be blessed by the music of Fawny Frost and Bob Teesdale.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was I had. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Good morning, and thank you, Reverend Karen, for that kind introduction and for the wonderful invitation to be with your community today. So good morning, Centers for Spiritual Living, Sarasota. I'm very nearby, so I look forward to sometime in the future meeting you in person. But for now, happy to be with you in cyberspace, breathing in together. And thank you for the beautiful music before my speaking, and the songs that I wanted to have you hear as we explore these concepts of being in the breath of God and being only here for God. I think about that term, being only here for God, and when I first heard the song, I thought to myself, that sounds like a tall order. What does it mean exactly to be only here for God? And I thought it had to do with being a master. I was thinking it must mean the people who are in the Himalayas and different places in the world and in the monasteries and praying ceaselessly and giving their life over like Mother Teresa, and constantly thinking of St. Francis and committing himself to the rebuilding of the church, this idea of being only here for God. That was what was in my mind when I first heard that song. So I began to explore that concept for myself. What does it mean to me? Do I want to be only here for God? And is that really a choice? So that's where I began those explorations. The first chant that you heard sung was the breath of God. The breath of God is breathing me, and resting in the breath of God, I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me. That really struck me. The breath of God is breathing me. I'm not breathing myself. I didn't give myself my life. The breath of God is breathing me. And I'm resting in the breath of God. And I know that all is well. So that song, that language began to wake up something in me when I heard that a couple of decades ago and said, the breath of God breathing me. I never thought about it that way. Since there is only one thing here, and not only the metaphysicians have made that very clear, but now science itself has made that very clear, that there is complete and total entanglement, that they can't find a place where things are not connected. There's only one life, one presence, one experience, one substance, even if we have our individual perception of it. So if that is so, if there's only one, and the breath of God is breathing me, and I'm resting in the breath of God, what would it mean to say, I'm only here for God? I'm only here for God. I looked at those words and I said, what if I add a few words? I'm only here for God. I'm only here with God. I'm only here as God. Only here as God. So if we just switch out that one word, it's not even that we are with it and or here for it. We are actually here as it. And we don't have an option not to be as it because we're made from the thing itself. So as I begin to explore that idea of being only here for God, I realize this is what our life is. It's not a special assignment that only a few get to say, I'm going to be here for God and my life is dedicated to God. We are living as it, as an individualized expression. The beauty of seeing it that way allows us to recognize that we really can't do it wrong because we are doing our individualized expression of God. There's not only one way. There's not only just the mountaintop experience. There's not just the ministry experience. There's not just the being charitable and giving ourselves in that way experience. There's the experience of being in a corporation. There's an experience of being on a farm. There's an experience of being a teacher. There's an experience of being a painter. All of those are God expressing as us. So if I'm only here as God, then what I want to spend my time on is being more and more aligned with that recognition and that part of myself that knows the attributes of God. It's only when I have confusion and a sense of separation that I forget the beauty, the power, the peace, the abundance, the intelligence, the love that is God, that is me. So when I'm wondering what to do with my life, and I remember that the breath of God is breathing me, then I turn it over to this breath and I align with the idea that I am one with this thing that is ever present, ever powerful, has everything within it that is needed. And as I have practices on a daily basis to align and realign and align and realign, then my intuitive senses, my sense of what's next is infused with this alignment. So then I know that the next thing for me to do is as God and aligned with its attributes. When I'm out of alignment, I can feel that. Anybody recognize when they're out of alignment? When you feel, remember the song, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. So when we're struggling and we feel like we're striving and we're pushing and we're pulling and we're trying, we are out of alignment. In God, the flow, there is an ease. It doesn't mean we don't do work. It doesn't mean some things take effort. It means that the energy with which we are doing our work and applying effort is not in a way that is struggling or striving, because we know that we are powered by the thing itself. And as we align, we recognize that the energy that we have, the breath that we have, that vitalizes our cells and gives us our energy, is something that was given to us. It's a gift. And as we recognize that and we feel that gratitude for it, it's natural for us to give of our God selves every day. What are you thinking about that? What do you think about this idea of being only here for God and not struggling and not striving, but instead celebrating that the breath of God is breathing you? I invite you to contemplate that. I invite you to consider being here, recognizing that you are an individualized expression of God, and therefore it's impossible for you to be here as anything but God. So, knowing that we are here as God and recognizing that we are an individualized expression, what does it mean that we do with our lives? As I mentioned before, whether you're in music or in art or in the corporations or on a farm, it's all God's work. And if we stay in alignment with that idea and remembering that we are practicing the presence with everything that we do, then everything that we do is infused with God, and everything that we do is unfolding for good. I have with me the Science of Mind textbook, which we all read regularly, and you notice all my little flags because it's something that needs to be read and reread so many times. And I'm looking at page 290. And the title of this segment is called Perfect Action, No Mistakes. In mental work, we must realize that there is one infinite mind which is consciously directing our destiny. Declare every day that no mistakes have been made, none are being made, and none can be made. Declare there is one supreme intelligence which governs, guides, and guards, tells me what to do, when to act, and how to act. Having done this in perfect faith, act with perfect assurance. Declare further, everything necessary to fulfill and complete expression of the most boundless experience of joy is mine now. Know this, see it, feel it, and be it every day for a few minutes, he mentions. There's so much there. And what I want to focus on is this idea. When I originally heard the song and thought, I'm only here for God. Am I only here for God? Am I enough? Am I doing enough to be only here for God? And then as I had that journey through my own spiritual awareness, knowing that, yes, I must be only here for God because I'm here as God. Then if I also can recognize that there are no mistakes being made, as we are sitting in this situation wondering what's ours to do, as we're sitting in this situation wondering the outcome and what happens after and what's happening with my role and my job and my opportunities, then we recognize that we are made of this essence that is ever giving, ever present, and constantly creating and constantly in motion. So we can't be on the wrong path, even if we're in the middle of a situation that's very challenging. We are still and remain and always shall remain being one with and as God itself, one with intelligence, one with peace, one with love, one with beauty, one with abundance. We are one with all of those things. And we need only align our minds again and again to remember even this that we're dealing with, even what's happening back at the job, even what's happening with our investments, even what's happening, sadly, with people being lost. Even this, we are in God, as God, and God works through us to give us what's needed to keep all our work on the path towards good. I spent some time earlier this year in Alabama. I had never been to Alabama before. I had actually avoided it because I was afraid of the emotions that might come up in visiting the places of the civil rights movement, and that the traumas that were experienced, I might not be able to move through in a way and be able to recover. But when I really thought about who I am in God, then I knew that the calling, the prompting to go do this must be a divine calling. And therefore, as Ernest Holmes said, if you have this calling, everything that's needed comes with it as well. So as I arrived to this experience and visited the monuments and took the walk from the prior enslaved people who walked from the ship, to the places where they were auctioned off. And when I stood in the places where people were shot down, I was able to not just focus on the part that was lost. I was able to focus on the strength and resilience of these people, and able to leave this experience after 9 days of visiting and listening and absorbing. I left with a sense of awe and gratitude rather than what I came with, which was some fear and some rage about what had happened. These emotions arise in us. Fear can arise. We don't have to ride it. Rage can arise. Frustration can arise. There's many things that we're seeing around us that we would prefer them to be differently. But aligning with the God self gives us the opportunity to be breathed by God, the breath of God, and it clears away all that's not necessary, all that will not be helpful, useful, moving things forward, even if it arises. That's the beauty of the God that we know. It is not something in the sky that is judging and thinking of us in a way other than giving constantly. It itself does not have judgment in it. We are constantly moving forward and always creating out of the greatest understanding that we have of God as ourselves. And as we grow in that understanding, we grow in our activity and our actions, and they flower and they become more and more luminous and more light. You can't do you wrong. I can't do me wrong. We're only here as God. And we breathe in, and the breath of God breathes us, and all is well. So happy to be with you today.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars are all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God. time and my hands. What must they do? Come in, my life is here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. God needs us to shine his light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine his light. God needs us to shine his light. God needs us to shine his light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Thank you, Fawny and Bob, for that beautiful affirmation of Reverend Christie's message. And bless you, Reverend Christie, for so elegantly reminding us of our own spiritual essence. And now to all of you, we at Center for Spiritual Living Sarasota are here to support you in knowing the power and the presence of your own spiritual essence. We're here to support you in prayer, in inspiration, in encouragement, and of course in the opportunity for virtual community and connection like we're doing today. And so that we can continue to support you, we so appreciate your generous financial support of this center. There are several ways that you can contribute, and you see the information now on your screen. If you go to our website, www.cslsarasota.com, you'll see, first of all, that you can select the donate button, where you will be directed to contribute by means of either credit card or PayPal. Or you can mail a check to the address you see there on the website. Or you can set up automatic contributions through your own online banking. Whatever way that you choose to support us, I invite you now to take your virtual contribution in your hand and place it over your heart, affirming with me that I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. My gift goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper, and the divine flow returns it to me multiplied abundantly. One more thing. Do you have a prayer request? If you do, you can easily send it to us on our website by selecting the green prayer request button. And our spiritual practitioners, Jim Grove, Kathleen Frankert, and Jaron Nelson, stand ready to know and affirm spiritual truth with and for you. So please do take advantage of that. And now, as we conclude this sacred time together, let me say I look forward to when we meet again. And let's just join together in singing this wonderful song of affirmation, "Let there be peace on earth."
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let